Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at casting on, which is the process of taking a piece of yarn, binding it into loops around our needle so that we can start knitting. So I've got this piece of yarn here, and what I want to do is I want to get it onto this needle so that I can knit with it. Okay, now the method I'm going to show you today is my favourite method, probably because my grandmother taught it to me when I was a child, and so I tend to default to it, I suppose. And it's often called the long tail method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of yarn. Okay, so there's my piece of yarn. This is my tail. Okay, and then with this I'm going to wrap it around my thumb, pull it back, do another wrap, and pull it like that. Now the whole purpose of doing that is purely and simply to get this loop. Okay, because I'm going to put that loop onto my needle, pull gently, and there is my first stitch. You can do this first loop however you want to do it. It doesn't really matter that much. Okay, there's loads of different ways of doing it. Regarding how tight you want it so that you can do that with your needle and it doesn't move, but you can quite easily move it up and down the needle yourself. Okay, so now I have my two pieces of yarn coming off. One is my tail, okay, which is this one. Okay, and the other is my working yarn, which is still connected to the ball. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put my thumb and my first finger through and spread them to create a 90-degree angle. I'm holding the other yarn with these two fingers under here just to give me a little bit of tension and make it more easy to control. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to rotate my left hand. I'm going to take this, I'm basically doing a figure of 8, under and up. Then I'm going to rotate the other way, under and up, and I'm going to take this loop, you see this loop, take this loop over the top, pull gently, and there's my second stitch. So let's do that again. We take our yarn, put our thumb, our first finger through, spread it, rotate, down and up, rotate, down and up, loop over, pull gently, and there's our second loop. Well, third because the first one as well. Down and up, over and pull. Down and up, loop over and pull. All the while I'm holding both yarns with these two fingers down here, which just gives it a bit of tension. If you try and do it without that, it's a bit all over the place. Okay, so we'll do a few more and then we'll look at how that looks at the bottom. Now, one of the reasons that this is my favourite cast on, apart from my grandmother teaching it to me, is that it's really quite stable. I can push these up and down like this and they stay pretty much spaced the way that they were. The tension remains the same. Okay, with some other cast-ons that isn't the case, and I find them more difficult to work with when I then start knitting my row. The other advantage is it gives really quite a nice edge along the bottom, like that. So all you would do is keep going until you have your required number of stitches, and then you have your first row ready to start knitting.